the worst game he's had. He's been the MVP of the league. He's been doing his thing, ace pitcher, batting fourth, crushing it. And then he had that really bad game that he got kicked out of, which probably had something to do with it. And he had a horrible attitude. We didn't talk. We usually go in the hot tub. We didn't go in the hot tub. I want him to know I was disappointed. Not that we lost the game or he had a bad game.
Just attitude.
In his attitude.
What he can control.
Because then it's like, no, that's on you, dude. Nope, I'm not happy. And I'm always the fun dad, so when he knows I'm upset, like, he fucked up. I don't have to do much. I'm his dad. So I'm the first base coach, so I'll be like, T, take your lead. He'll be like, I got it. I'll be like, I got it. I'm like, oh, my bad, you got it. All right, dude. You know what you're doing. T, elbow up. I know. Elbows up. All right, big dog. But then if a coach who has no professional sports experience, played in fucking fourth grade, goes, T, elbow up, he goes, right away, sir. It's just, I'm his dad.
That's right.
I'll remind his ass, though.
That's right.
I'll grab him by the collar and be like, hey, motherfucker, you think you went professional in 2 motherfucking sports? That guy couldn't hold my fucking jock strap. Like he's going to listen to me.
Okay, so Schaub trashing his son's coach, first and foremost. His son had an attitude. You embarrassed your son and got ejected from his baseball game. You embarrass your son every time you're there, and this just confirmed it. He just said, my son, he never listens to me, but he listens to the other coaches. Hey, stupid, he doesn't want you there. You're not a coach. You're there bothering his coach. I remember once I went on a field trip as a kid to Slater Park, and then my mom just showed up with her friend. And I was like, what are you doing? Get out of here. You're back. That's how Schaub's son feels every time. He's like, why are you here, Dad? You got beat up by Bubba in the UFC, and you had a cup of coffee with the Bills, as you say. So he's just out there embarrassing his son. And then to have the audacity to say, he had an attitude. You got thrown out of the game for swearing. Your wife is swearing at the games. You're an embarrassment. It's already embarrassing enough for your son to have his dad, who's the most hated person on the internet. That's already embarrassing. Then his mom looking like a whore on Instagram and making him take the pictures. That's also really, really, really embarrassing. But then you show up to his game, you're screaming, making noise. By the way, I hate to say this, but I'm going to have to just go ahead and say it. This is a very rich, well-to-do area, so your son, I'm speaking from the mindset of Brendan Schaub's son. He's probably really the only minority there, and his loud minority parent, his mom, is there making a scene. It's like, just go away. But, I mean, damn, Schaub can just take no responsibility. And what was that at the end? You felt like choking his son and saying, listen to me. I have zero baseball experience, and I obviously can't throw a ball. Or, what, you ended up in the UFC, and you played football in college, and never even got a tryout in the NFL. That makes you knowledgeable about baseball. And he's supposed to listen to you. Just a joke. Brendan Schaub is an absolute joke, and everything's a lie and contradiction. So in this, he trashed the coach, though, saying, I don't know why my son listens to the coach instead of me. Well, you're an embarrassment, but no wonder why that coach keeps uploading the footage to the Fighter and the Kid subreddit. Now I completely get why that coach, who hates Schaub and keeps uploading footage, because he did it from the game and from the practice. So it had to have been the coach. It couldn't have been a parent on another team. But, I mean, you can tell this really got to Schaub. He keeps talking about it. This is all from that one Fighter and the Kid episode where they did the fake Ask Me Anything again. But he just kept bringing up that baseball game. And by the way, this is just his one son. We're going to get this whole arc in Texas with his younger son, Boston. Oh my God, he named the kid Boston. But we're going to get this all over again with Boston Schaub. Do you think Boston Schaub is just looking at this, just going, I'm not into sports? Do you think the younger son is looking at what the older son's going through and like, yeah, I'm not going to be going through that. I'm not into sports, Dad. But, I mean, my God, the whole thing saying his son has an attitude after that game that you got thrown out of. Yeah, he's got an attitude. He doesn't want you there, dude. Ugh. I bet you he shows up to his son's game in like a Lamborghini. It's all loud and shit. There's this one thing, and which embarrasses his son, by the way. There was this one episode of Run's house, right? And what's the youngest kid's name? Diggy, right? And Reverend Run went to go drop off Diggy at his school, at his rich private school, and he showed up in like a Bentley or something. And his youngest son was embarrassed. And the moral of the story, at the end of the episode, it was Run telling his son, I don't want you to be embarrassed if I show up to your school in an expensive, nice car. I worked hard for it. However, they never got his son's perspective. And his son's perspective was, everybody in this fucking school is rich. And they don't show up in Bentleys. They show up in town cars because they got real money and they don't have to show it off. You're showing off your money because as if you don't really got it. No one at my school is impressed you have a Bentley. They're all billionaires at my school. They don't care. So I guarantee you this asshole Schaub shows up in like the loudest cars ever, Lamborghinis, whatever, makes a complete scene around to his son's baseball game where everyone on his son's baseball team probably has insane amount of money and nobody's impressed. You're just being loud and distracting. Of course you are, which is why you're the one getting thrown out of the baseball games. Which is why you're the one they're uploading footage to, the Fighter and the Kid subreddit. But yeah, look at poor Callan just sitting there looking at this idiot. This is right after the argument they had too about the my son won't get it. So first and foremost, by the way, he talked about the tablet thing and his son's not having access to it. I'm a good dad. But then he just said that his son doesn't listen to him and has an attitude. He's so dumb. He's such an idiot. And he's going to go get on an airplane to go buy a truck and be gone for a week so he can secretly get addies and baddies. Because that's what Schaub does. He's an idiot. He's a dummy. Look at, and I mean, I got a lot of videos done from this AMA, but they keep doing fake AMAs where they're reading off fake question. Hey, Brendan, I see that you're crushing it in life. I mean, your podcast failed. You had to quit stand-up and you're moving to Texas, but what's it like being awesome and great? It's like to actually make up that question and read it on air as if anyone would believe that that was a real question is ridiculous, but they have to stroke this dummy's ego so much they actually do it. And then he's upset the schnoz chick isn't going down to Texas. Look, she already has to call home and get rent money from her dad to go follow her dreams in LA. Hey, I'm a podcast producer, Dad. Are you? But, you know, it's a bridge too far to call up and say, hey, Dad, I know you're paying my rent so I can be a producer. Hey, they told me I'm not going to make that much money, but I'm really earning in experience. But she knows not to call and say, I'm going to earn more in experience moving to Texas. Can you pay my rent down there too? So, I mean, this whole thing, a complete, utter debacle. The whole baseball thing is just hilarious. Now, I kind of don't want him to move to Texas because I want more footage to be uploaded, although I'm sure he'll annoy the people there too, and they'll probably upload some footage. Although I wonder, after he leaves, if the coach and other people on his son's baseball team will come forward with their testimonials about how much of an asshole Schaub is. I'm wondering if that's going to happen. Like, they're not going to do it now when he's there, but he's already technically left. I'm assuming, by the way, these videos, when we get them, are like at least a week old or 2 weeks old. So I'm wondering now that he's officially gone, if they'll come forward and be like, this man with the biggest piece of crap ever, he'd show up, there'd be 30 Mexicans with him, and his wife, it was like salsa music playing. What's that music with salsa on top of it? I don't know. But yeah, just terrible. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.